My uncle, Rae Patton, was a co-writer of this book, The Science of Chemistry. And it was in the library. Which library? First of all, the pits etched out of a cadmium sulfate crystal. The six-sided pits, actually about 1/1000th of the size in the picture, show how the atoms are arranged. So that's how they're arranged for cadmium. And I would have thought he would have used gold. That's the cover photograph. Rae Patton is a professor in the chemistry department of Colorado State University. Formerly a research chemist with DuPont, he has become increasingly involved with presenting science to the layman and devotes most of his time to teaching chemistry to non-science majors. He is a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science and a member of the American Chemical Society. He lives with his wife in Fort Collins, Colorado. Well, his first wife was my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, and his second wife was Zella, and I don't know her maiden name or her married name before she married Uncle Ray, but they were over 80 years old when they got married. And Ira M. Freedom is a professor of physics at Rutgers University. Formerly a consultant on science teaching with UNESCO, he is now science consultant for Random House, Inc. One of the first working scientists to write for children. He has many titles, both as author and as co-author with his wife, May. The Freemans live in Bound Brook, New Jersey. So the reason I'm reading this is because my cousin died. His name was Beyer Patton, and he was a mathematician who worked for Martin-Marietta, calibrating vibrations of missiles. And before that, during that, he worked for Las Vegas, working with statistics and the numbers for gambling, because you can use that when you're a mathematician. So I got a book like this when I was a child, not even 10. And I was reading it, maybe I was in the 3rd grade. I was reading it on the way home from Minnesota to Alabama or Florida. Probably Florida, because I didn't move, maybe Florida. But anyway, I started reading this and I thought it was rather dry and boring when I was about 10. Page 1, from St. Philip's College, not to be taken from the library without permission. Well, they've given it away. I bought it. You are reading this book made of paper while sitting in a chair made of wood. No, it's a composite. In the light coming through a glass window. Often you ride along a concrete highway in an automobile constructed mostly of steel and powered by gasoline. Your food comes packed in glass, metal, paper, or plastic containers. Hundreds of different materials are part of your way of living. It is true that almost any object can be formed from a choice of different materials. For instance, a cup can be made of plastic or glass or porcelain or aluminum, or lead if you're Roman. So, it has pictures to help children, and I think it was written for children. And I only met this uncle, this great uncle, once, and that was in Alabama when I was about 8. 2 years, well, actually I met him twice. When we were in Minnesota, I met him, and then he actually came to Alabama to visit. They were on their way traveling, my Aunt Avis and Uncle Ray, and Beyer was with them only in Minnesota. So I only met Beyer once that I know of. He was not traveling with his parents when they came to Alabama. But the last picture is interesting. These people are all gone, I'm pretty sure. My Uncle Ray is dead, so I'm pretty sure that they're also gone. But here are some fine looking police law enforcement people spraying pepper spray or mace on people protesting. Well, I see one white person, but this was written in 1980, so there is a possibility that this protest was civil rights, because I do see some black faces. It's not all white. And, you know, I don't know if you realize this, but there were some white people who were not racist who were part of the civil rights movement. And women really wanted the civil rights movement to include them. And the back of the page, or the back of the book, talks about Random House science and who bound it. And it is perfect bound, I believe. I don't think it's, no, it is perfect bound. It's not, it doesn't have folios with sewing. There's no sewing in here. An old book. Will I read it ever again? I don't know, but I was wondering about my uncle, so I thought I would buy his book and see what I remembered about it. He did write 2 other books, I believe. They weren't for children. They were college or university textbooks. And he did work for DuPont.